Hello, welcome back to the L1 show. Live long and prosper because it's Alien Week here at L1 Techs. Wendell is still in Canada, but we are going to do AI stories and nonsense stories without him.
I don't know if our aliens will have that mentality,
Live long and
especially when it
prosper.
comes to us. Maybe
They're going to be more Borg, you think?
serve and die quickly. But let's not worry about that until it actually becomes a thing, because we might not actually have alien invaders, but we do have artificial intelligence that is changing our world. And we have some people who want to get their hands around the power structure of it.
Big tech firms pledge to control AI, but Apple is not joining them. Classic Apple.
Obviously, what they're doing is trying to usurp regulations by creating their own regulation that is favorable toward them. But Apple, it seems, isn't even satisfied with that. They don't want.
I don't need to have any rules.
Yeah, I don't want anybody else telling me what to do. We're going to do what we want with AI, and you're going to deal with the consequences. And figuring out how much of our world has already been made by AI was once promised to us by OpenAI. They said, yeah, we can tell. More importantly, they give this out to schools. And they're like, yeah, if somebody's cheating, this thing can figure it out. Well,
OpenAI quietly shuts down its AI detection tool because it had a very, very low accuracy rate.
I love how they point out that this was created by AI.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, we're drowning in it.
There's just nothing organic.
Also, it's
on the
weird
web.
that the children back here appear to be real children. I guess that's why he's sad.
He's not a real boy.
Yeah, well, they've quietly admitted that doesn't work. And it probably never really worked much. Meta kind of went against the grain by releasing Llama 2, which is a open source version. You can make your own AI, but some people are pointing out the limits of open source in this situation.
Meta can call Llama 2 open source as much as it likes, but that doesn't mean that it is. It's a marketing term for Facebook, or Meta.
Specifically, open source means you can do whatever you want as long as you attribute who created it. In the Meta model, that is not the case. If you use this commercially and make a certain amount of money, you owe Meta money. So that just does not fit the definition of open.
But we got the headlines already, so who cares?
And health insurance, the health situation in general is awful, but it seems like technology will only serve to make it worse.
Cigna accused of using an algorithm to reject patients' health insurance claims. I would 100% believe that's happening.
Oh my God.
Yeah, not even a question.
Now they admit they're using the algorithm, but they claim that they're using it for a different purpose. I don't believe them.
I also don't believe. Well, it's like the job thing, you know. Oh, no. We read resumes. They don't. They just use an algorithm, and then some of them just automatically get sorted to the nah pile.
So this woman pointed out that she had a cyst on her ovary, and they needed to do an ultrasound. So they did the ultrasound, and then they're like, well, you know what? We better do another one before we do the surgery just to make sure and figure out where everything is and stuff. So they did that one. And retroactively, the insurance company was like, nah, the algorithm rejected both those ultrasounds. You're going to pay for those yourself. And that's examples here. All of them very suspicious. It's a dark future. We're going to be old, and a pretty dark time to be old.
And constantly fighting with a machine. You'll never be able to even talk to a person because they don't hire people anymore.
And we know machines hate old people.
It's true.
Well, one thing that we won't have, though, for the time being, is new movies. Oh, what a dark time. No Hollywood.
There's a lot of crappy Hollywood productions, but there are some good ones, and it is sad to see that we're not going to get good art for a little bit.
In the past couple of years, we've had like 2, 3 decent movies come out. I mean, come on. But it seems that situation is not going to get better because it doesn't seem they want to give in to the strike. Instead, they want to replace.
Netflix lists 900,000 AI jobs as actors and writers continue to strike. This headline is a little bit misleading because the AI job is more with I think how the apps work. So giving you recommendations is going to be AI.
No, but they point out that it's going to be that, but it's not just going to be that.
Yeah.
because the job listing indicates the AI will be to create great content. So any argument that they're just going to be doing algorithm to see what to show you is not the case. They also have a second AI job for a little over $500,000 for the gaming part of Netflix.
Which who uses Netflix? Who are you people? If you use Netflix gaming, please comment because I want to know what manner of person you are. I don't know anybody who uses Netflix for gaming.
They point out that there's a Spanish show on Netflix called Deep Fake Love that somehow AI generates people and uses them. I don't understand what the premise of that show is, but that's interesting.
I only use Netflix to rewatch Arrested Development and Community at this stage.
What if they put out an AI generated sequel to Arrested Development? You gonna watch it?
They already did that with the crappy versions they did a couple of years ago.
But they weren't AI generated.
They weren't AI generated. They just it was hard because they couldn't get the cast back together again,
But
and you could
AI
tell because of the script.
But what about the AI cast? Forever Young.
I don't want that.
Well, do you want this? Do you want to be able to quickly swap colors? Actually, I can't think of a better
No,
thing.
there's no good segue here. It's not that exciting. Adobe Illustrator's new AI feature instantly switches the color palette of vector graphics. Okay. All right. I just saw this and was like, I'll include it in the AI section. This probably won't be that useful for me 90% of the time. I don't use Illustrator a whole lot except for things like logos. I don't do my illustrations in Illustrator very often. So it wouldn't be that useful to me.
We've updated our terms. I couldn't figure out why this was in the robot section.
Oh, I think
there-
I meant to put this in nature.
No.
Extreme heat shows the need for another kind of climate investment. Did I put this in here?
I wouldn't have.
I don't think I put this in here.
Unless the headline was something.
It
other
might have been
than
something else and it's changed. I don't know what this was now. Maybe Wendell put this in?
mystery. There's a mystery story. You know what about the aliens? Put that in there.
Oh man. Let me resecure. This isn't. It's so hard to keep it secure and it's in place.
You know, I think radio waves could also penetrate your hair where it's not.
Into my ears.
Well, not just
do I
your ears.
need
It
like
can, it can get under. You need a seal.
like a rubber gasket
You probably have to put your hair up and
underneath
then have
it,
like a like-
bald cap and then the
It's not easy. It's not easy keeping out of the surveillance. And it's not, you know what? This star, I think scientists are baffled about the star, but I think I've got it figured out. I think this star was probably a child of divorce. And it spent weekends with one gas. And then on Monday had to go back to the other gas. So it created that
split.
dual personality.
Two-faced star with helium and hydrogen sides baffles astronomers. Though they do seem to have, in this article, they kind of have an idea of why this happened the way it did. I guess as it shrinks from a red giant to a white dwarf, which is what this is, it changes the gas composition, and this one is like midway between the change.
And gravity.
Yeah.
The increased
magnetism,
gravity
yeah.
is pulling stuff down, but not uniformly. I guess this takes a while to happen. I don't know.
It's cool that they saw it, though.
You know what I forgot to put in here? This reminds me of. Have you seen the Sphere building in Las Vegas?
Oh, with the giant eyeball?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have seen that.
That's amazing.
What a weird thing to build. Do you think the aliens saw that and like, they're ready? They need to know.
They really want to go to a concert there.
Yeah.
It's like,
There's a Celine Dion
do you
concert.
think Miley Cyrus will play there? It's time for us to make contact. And we are still looking for ways to explore in space. One of the big things about driving around in space is propulsion. How do you make your spaceship move? It's very expensive and you can't renew your fuel. And in science fiction, it's the torch drive, which is exactly what they're proposing here.
The US government is taking a serious step towards space-based nuclear propulsion. I saw a lot of, as someone who's definitely a layman, I saw a few downsides, like trying to get nuclear
Launching- yeah.
material into the atmosphere. But
And putting it in an orbit that doesn't risk decaying and putting a running nuclear reactor back into the atmosphere. They say they figured all that out. But what this is going to do is you use a nuclear reactor to heat up some kind of propellant and shoot it out in a high heat situation, which will give you some propulsion, but it still will run out of fuel.
right.
It's not forever fuel.
So the rocket to get it off the Earth would be a traditional rocket, but then once it got into space, it would just
but it's not even going to do that. This is just one to test to see if it'll even work while it's up there.
I think, was it 2027 that they wanted to have it up?
I did not remember the dates.
I think it was pretty soon. Like
Yeah.
I was surprised how soon it was.
You're right, 2027.
Oh, maybe we'll all be dead by then.
I think you know what a great book would be. A book would be like a nation state. I mean, you can if you want to do Russia, you know, it's the obvious one. Who goes into space and steals that satellite to get the nuclear fuel to make a weapon. Although Russia already has nukes,
Yeah.
so that doesn't make any sense. I guess the Iranians would have to do it.
That'd be the new villain.
They don't have a space program. Do they?
I don't think so.
I'm gonna have to work on this, but I'll come up with a synopsis.
North Korea, maybe. But they also, don't they
don't
also
have a space program. Well, Krista, you say that sometimes you hang out on your porch.
Yeah, usually after work.
It's an Eastern Kentucky thing a lot of people do. You have to be careful, though.
French woman hit by apparent meteorite while relaxing on her terrace. I'm going to say I hang out on my terrace after work.
I think a terrace is
It's usually
upper
smaller,
floor.
right? Yeah.
It's like not ground floor.
I don't have an upper floor.
You're
so.
a ranch.
Yeah.
You're a rancher. So updated, they now believe that this had terrestrial origins, but they don't have an explanation as to how it attacked her.
It's the aliens, man.
Did somebody just throw a rock?
It's like they say Bigfoot will throw rocks at people when it wants you out of territory. Maybe aliens do that too. Maybe Bigfoot is an alien.
And if you're in Arizona, you get a fun celestial thing, although at this point, I'm sure this is well over with by the time you see this.
Night sky bleeds over Arizona after SpaceX rocket punches a hole in the atmosphere. Here is why.
It's the same as the Aurora Borealis. It's ionization, but in this case, instead of the sun doing it, it's Elon Musk.
Yeah, they're like, oh, it'll repair itself after a few days. And I was like, should we be doing that all the time? I don't know. Maybe it's okay.
What we're doing, like a couple a week at this point? It's not always the same point, though, right?
I wouldn't hope not, but maybe.
Well, the Indian Ocean also has a weird little, I guess it's not really weather, a natural thing.
Natural, yeah. I feel like we need a nature section. I guess we kind of have a nature section. There is a gravity hole in the Indian Ocean, and scientists now think they know why.
Gravity hole seems like a good way to describe certain people.
I've heard black hole of charisma, or Riz, as the kids say.
Or how about a NIM? I've coined a NIM.
What is NIM?
No inner monologue.
Oh.
You got to avoid them.
I was thinking, isn't there like a kid's book, like the rats of NIM?
Oh, yeah.
No inner monologue rats.
They probably got a trademark on that.
Probably. I think it's spelled differently.
And moving on to the some animals here. I think actually this is the nature section.
What's that? Nature or nonsense? I would hope this is nonsense, but no, it's real.
It's dark. You don't realize that, like nature has some horrible things that go on. Now they claim that this happens in the wild as well as in captivity, but I wonder about that, don't you? Seems like this is something
This is maybe like a mental disorder from being in captivity.
well, prison behavior. I mean, yeah.
Manatee dies of injuries from sexual encounter with his brother at Florida Aquarium.
Not too meticulous about who their partners are. So yeah, the manatees apparently just go into a lustful rage.
Ugh.
And they described that these two brothers had done this to one another pretty regularly. They have a policy never to physically separate them because they don't know what that would do. Could cause more damage. But yeah, perforated colon.
Oh.
Got him.
You know, I don't like to think of any animal doing that kind of thing, but for some reason manatees feels especially obscene because they just look so big and dumb and like kind of doofy.
I wouldn't want to watch that.
No.
That's something you don't unsee.
Do they, when they had the tank up, like, do you think there were kids watching and then it was like, okay, everybody, like,
Let's get some ice cream.
yeah, let's go, Dippin' Dots.
You definitely don't want. They mentioned that some of the ways they tried to defeat it because they wouldn't physically separate them was like lure them away with treats or something. It's like, but apparently nothing's.
Okay, manatees, let's go get some Dippin' Dots. What do manatees eat? Do they eat, is it algae
Fish.
or fish? Yeah.
They're meat eaters, I think, right?
I'm not, I've never actually thought about it. I don't know.
Well, if dolphins are into this kind of behavior, I bet this guy
Oh,
never gets left alone.
dolphins are into this,
He's probably
unfortunately.
like Jesus. He's like the pincushion of the dolphin world.
Rare pink dolphins, plural, spotted swimming in Louisiana River.
Oh, I didn't realize there was more than one.
Yeah, I think so. Well, it said multiple, but yeah, they only have one picture here. But it's like a very pale pink.
But I'm sure that's very vibrant in the underwater world.
Yeah.
Where most things aren't that color.
Yeah, it's I think it's an albino dolphin
I won't play the video
because it might be
but,
loud. Yeah,
That's
it's
cool.
pretty cool. Yeah,
Pink dolphins. I'm into that. And the sea lions are very upset. And apparently they're protected. So if one comes after you, you got no choice. You must run.
California sea lions charge towards startled beachgoers, emptying busy cove.
I bet that's so much fun for them, right?
Probably aren't sea lions. Sea lions aren't the ones that are like sea dogs. That's seals. Seals look like sea dogs.
Seals kind of like a puppy like look.
Yeah, sea lions are a little scary looking, I think.
I wouldn't tangle with one.
No.
I mean, you would think that on ground you would have some advantages, but I'm not taking that risk.
No. Yeah, I'd just run. Catch me, you little flippered. I won't say it 'cause we'll get demonetized.
And this guy, unlike all these other misbehaving animals, this guy was doing exactly what he was supposed to. He was integrating into society, and they still did not accept him.
Alligator waits for a ride at Florida bus stop. He's hanging out in the shade, I think. Like it's too hot everywhere else. So he found the one grassy patch with shade and he's just chilling, living his best life.
But he's cold blooded. How hot does it be to be too hot for?
I mean, considering isn't the water in Florida right now 100 degrees? It's like a record in the Gulf right now. I don't know if I included a story about that.
Maybe he was waiting at the bus stop so he could go to the theater and enjoy the air conditioning. He was probably going to watch Barbie.
He was at the cooling station. He wanted to go for the city. Oh, yeah. You think he's a Barbie fan?
Well, he saw Oppenheimer last week. They dragged him to the nearby water and unceremoniously tossed him in. He got no bus ride.
The water's 100 degrees. It's like boiling. Please.
There's lots of videos where people are like, "Oh, there's a turtle on the road," and they take it and they throw it in the water,
And
and
it's
it's a tortoise.
a terrestrial, yeah.
Comments are always like, "You've just killed it."
Oh.
Florida, yeah, it's rough out there in Florida, but it'd probably be a lot worse if he was in Arizona.
It's so hot in Arizona, doctors are treating a spike of patients who were burned by falling on the ground. I saw a video of someone who put eggs, or it was cookies maybe, in their mailbox and they cooked.
But people do that every time we have a heat wave
Yeah.
in the West. They'll put cookies in the car while they're like in the store or whatever and come back to bake cookies. They'll do the eggs on the sidewalk. That's a social media trope.
Yeah.
It gets hot, cook things, including yourself, on the sidewalk. That's, you know what? All that, as children, the ground is lava training. It was preparing us for this.
For the reality of what's happening with our environment.
And more ocean catastrophic doom porn.
Gulf Stream could collapse as early as 2025, study suggests. So the time range I think was 2025 to like 2070 something.
90.
Yeah, but I think they said 2070 was the most likely date. So
That's the
2025 is like the worst.
I'm suspicious of doomsday predictions with dates. They really don't play out.
The Gulf Stream though has been very strange this season. And it being destabilized would be very bad for our weather patterns.
Well, dementia is a terrifying prospect because I don't think there's really a lot of research on how you would stop it. And I got to think that many of our behaviors in the modern world are accelerating toward it. But apparently this is good for it.
Hearing aids may cut risk of cognitive decline by nearly half.
However, if you read the details here, it was only if you already had health issues like heart conditions and diabetes. The people that didn't have those issues in the same age range, it didn't matter.
That's so weird.
So it seems like maybe if you don't take care of yourself and you don't hear anything, then you spiral faster.
Yeah.
I've been a big headphone user my entire life. I'm worried about that one too.
Yeah, I have noticed the last few years. For a long time, remember when I first started here, I didn't listen to anything. I used to never listen to music or anything. I just worked in silence all day.
Just listen to your inner monologue.
Yeah. And then the last couple years I've been listening to music, but I do try to keep it low because I am worried about that.
Well, we've seen story after story about war with AI and how we're already working on many products to kill people with using AI. But don't worry, because our fearless leaders have thought of that.
Judeo-Christian roots will ensure U.S. military AI is used ethically, General says. X doubt.
Somebody get that man a history book.
Yeah. That also seems like a really convenient way to put off your own personal responsibility to make sure it's used ethically.
Aren't we supposed to separate that from our government?
Yeah.
And I remember watching this video a while back, and it is terrifying because they pull this woman over and they pop her in the police car, and they're just there doing their thing, loitering as cops always do after an arrest. And here comes the train.
Officer who put woman in police car, hit by train, didn't know it was on the tracks, defense says. Good situational awareness by the officer.
There are literally flashing lights.
Well, yeah, flashing lights. And like when you drive on it, you feel the bump. Like, I don't.
Oh, the defense argued that it was one of those that's where the road is built right up to the tracks. So there wasn't enough of a bump for her to notice. It's
Baffling.
It's insane, obviously.
Yeah.
This is, cops don't get punished for things, and it's ridiculous. But
Also, if you're an officer, quote, pillar of the community, shouldn't you know that community and its roads and where the railroads intersect?
yeah, you should always have
I
that
know.
awareness.
I have a plan in my head when I leave this place today. I need to drive a certain way at a certain time to avoid the railroad tracks.
I got caught by the railroad tax coming here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't really defend it, but they want to. They have to have some excuse for the abortion of justice that will be. And we still might get Elon Musk versus Mark Zuckerberg in combat.
Oh,
If that happens,
dream.
this needs to be the undercard.
GOP lawmakers predict imminent fistfight between Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert. Boebert. Words I read but never say out loud.
I think Boebert takes her. What do you think?
I don't know. Taylor Greene kind of has that crazy.
I think she's probably been in some fights.
Yeah. But they probably both have.
She's pulled some hair. She's scratched, I'm sure. I'd love to see it. And school. This is an embarrassing one. Someone is directly responsible for this, but they're not naming any names. I wish they would.
Whoops, Massachusetts town scrambling to take action after typo painted on road near middle school. School.
You gotta wonder if that guy was a product of that school.
Someone was on autopilot that day because it was hot. I just want to finish this painting real quick.
They claim that the weather prevented them. This was July 26th. The weather was preventing them from getting in there and fixing it because it was raining every day.
Ooh. Yeah, it's been a crazy rainy season up north, like flooded out trails and roads and everything up in like Vermont, Massachusetts, and places like that.
And if you're going to spend some time on a plane, it's nice that they bring you a little snack, but sometimes the snacks go wrong.
British Airways passengers fed KFC chicken, a leg each, on 12-hour flight to London. I would be so hangry within like 5 hours.
All the catering equipment was apparently the cooler wasn't turned on or failed or something. So,
But they don't have anything that's not perishable?
nope. And well, I mean, legally you can't serve it after it's been above 40 degrees for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
So they actually had to stop for a layover. And during the layover, they ran out and got some KFC, but only one item per.
How much do you pay to get on that plane and that's what they get you?
This looks like a really not like she's probably in first class, right?
Yeah. I haven't flown for a while, but usually I carry at least one snack on board with me.
What about Wendell? Wendell wouldn't be able to eat that chicken leg.
Yeah, people who have like health things where they can't eat meat. They get him some mashed potatoes and call it a day, but it's covered in butter. I mean,
All that stuff's got animal product. And if you bought some insanely overpriced cookies lately, bad news, don't eat them.
Trader Joe's recalls 2 types of cookies because they may contain rocks.
There was no explanation as to why they may contain rocks. Just don't eat them. Almond windmill cookies and whatever that is. They don't look very appetizing, do they?
Well, I mean, they're probably like, quote, health cookies. I can't imagine how a rock would get in there.
That's gonna be good. Like, do you count a rock as fiber?
I know you'd count that as calcium, right?
Well, your body's not gonna break it down.
But it's not fiber.
It's insoluble. Subway. I was trying to think like, I don't think I would pay $100 for this.
No.
Certainly not.
This is an exact plot line in the show Community.
Have you heard of this woman, this new murderer that is sweeping the court channels? Her name is Shabusiness.
No.
She changed her name, SCHA business, and apparently that's like show business. She wanted her name to be show business.
Wow.
And then she killed her boyfriend and cut his head off.
Whoa.
So if you want to be like her,
Subway to give free sandwiches for life to one person who agrees to legally change their name to Subway.
For life actually means $50,000 worth of Subway gift cards. I guess you could resell them, right?
I guess. So, like I said, this is a Community plot. Like, every week we do more stories that are just plot lines from 30 Rock or Community or other television shows that were supposed to be parodies and comedies. And now it's just real.
Well, it's funny that our laws are going that way as well.
Yeah.
Like stuff in science fiction is now happening. We're doing it.
It's getting more and more absurd.
Now, if you want to be a part of this, you can go to subwaynamechange.com and you can apply until August 4th, which...
Would that be in the past by the time they see this?
No, not quite. Because
it'll be today.
Oh, it's today.
Do it today,
You got until 11 p.m. I guess that's Eastern time. And yeah, you'll get $750 because that's what it costs to change your name, plus your $50,000 worth of Subway gift cards. You'll probably be required to be in some commercials and stuff.
Does the Subway gift card also cover the not tuna?
You know what would be amazing? I mean, I don't know if amazing is the right word for it, but like they get the Subway guy and he becomes, it's like, oh, it's a great little thing. It turns out just like Jared.
something in the tuna. Just oof.
He uses his gift cards to lure children.
No.
And this is a new tactic that all the candy companies are doing. The crazy flavor that you can't really buy just to get a bunch of headlines.
Yeah, Skittles and French's officially make mustard flavored candy a thing for National Mustard Day. I'm not interested if I can't eat it. I don't care about your branding exercise.
One lucky person, I think through like social media or something, will get a package mailed to them. Otherwise, you have to find the French's hot dog mobile, and they sell them. But that'll be.
You mean does French's have a hot dog mobile, or are you thinking Oscar?
It's definitely French's, right?
Well, I mean, French's mustard is part of this, but like
French's mustard mobile. Oh, it's not a hot dog mobile.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's Oscar Mayer Wiener mobile.
I don't know.
I've seen it.
Have you seen the mustard mobile?
No, but I have seen the Oscar Mayer Wiener mobile.
Well, if you spot it, get yourself some mustard Skittles and put them on eBay. And China is having a real tough economic time. It seems like things have gone down very quickly there.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's like propaganda for us or if that is actually what's happening.
I mean, they've got some convincing videos online, but who knows at this point. But we're getting stories like this.
Facing job scarcity in China, some find work as, quote, full-time children. That's so sort of sad.
They pay this girl $1,300 a month, which is a pretty average salary in China, they say. These are her parents. And she cooks for them and cleans for them and is just available at any time that they want to have a family outing. So in other words, they're supporting their daughter, who has 2 children of her own. She's actually not that young.
Those aren't actually her parents though, right?
Yes.
Oh, they are her parents.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I thought it was like unrelated people who like didn't have kids and they're like, I want a kid, I'll take care of him.
And they point out the job fairs are like, people are basically fist fighting for any kind of job.
Wow.
Seems like rough times over there.
I'm sure AI will not accelerate that.
And if you have children of your own here in the United States, God help you, you don't know what you were getting into, especially if you want them to have all of the advantages that you never had.
Forget college admissions, some parents are shelling out up to $4,000 just to get their daughters into sororities. I never understood the sorority frat life appeal.
No. I think you're buying friends, right?
It certainly feels that way in this case, yeah.
Yeah. So apparently, the new hotness with sororities because of the lockdowns and all that nonsense, they have now moved their system into basically surveilling you online at all times and making sure that you're staying in line with the rules of the sorority, that you're the kind of quality person that they need. And there are people who understand this. It's kind of like a SEO person for your life for
Ugh.
sororities.
I don't get the appeal.
$4,000, man. That's,
Not all of them. I mean, not all sororities and stuff are terrible, but like, I just don't get the appeal.
and we have talked about this lady several times in the past. I think she loves headlines.
Yeah.
And she continues to do anything she can to get them.
Singer divorces devilishly handsome ghost of a Victorian soldier after less than a year. Is divorce acceptable to this Victorian era man? I didn't think that they allowed divorce.
I don't know if he gets a choice. She points out that he became violent and threatening, but most importantly, when they went on their honeymoon,
Oh, no more photos, just the selfie.
why would they even put the arrow there? They went on their honeymoon and he spotted this picture of Marilyn Monroe and then became obsessed with Marilyn Monroe. Which, I mean, on your honeymoon,
Embarrassing.
it's
What will
like,
Queen Victoria have to say about this scandal? Her
so
ghost.
she married him in this ceremony, which you can watch here, where there's just a blank spot. So she had to go back here in order to exorcise him from her life somehow. So now he's gone. And it turns out every time she does one of these stunts, she releases a new album, which is what this is about. She's a
Oh,
musician.
weird how that works out, huh?
Wonder what she'll do next. Oh, you know what? She should marry an AI.
Oh, yeah.
Although
That's
guys have
less
already done that.
exciting because we've already seen several headlines about
It's
that.
actually kind of a thing that the Japanese do a lot.
Yeah.
Engagement challenge. How should she take it to the next level? What's next for this lady? Brocard. Brocarde?
Wow.
How do you pronounce that? Brocard.
There's no elvish way of pronouncing that.
She's got kind of an elf look to her.
A little bit. All right.
All right. Well, back next week.
Wendell should be back, I think, next week. Should be. LTX will be over.
As far as I know.
Yeah.
If he's not, there'll definitely be something wrong.
All right. We'll see you guys then. Bye.